Great. All right, so welcome to the Rising Sixth Grade Math Club Parent Meeting. My name is Tyler Erb. I teach Math 2 and Math 3. At Community House, I teach Math 2 to 7th and 8th grade, and Math 3 just to 8th grade. So let's talk about the club. It is open to rising 6th and 7th graders who are going to be taking math at Community House. This helps provide exposure to higher level math concepts that your students might not have had exposure to, especially in the elementary school. The club is completely free, right? I do not get any money for running the club. I also would like to state that I am also not available to tutor any of your students on the side, especially while this club is going on, right? During the club, I want to provide a free and open opportunity for everyone to take this club, which means that I am not tutoring any parent, student, anyone in Math 1 during that time. By being in the club, it is not a guarantee for placement into Math 1. So just because your student attends does not mean they will automatically get into Math 1. Students will take a placement test at the end of the course to determine if they should be placed in an accelerated math course above the honors level the following year. So anyone can open enroll in our honors levels courses. For 6th graders, that would be Math 6 honors. If you are trying to get into Math 7 honors as a 6th grader or Math 1, you have to place into those courses. So here's our goal. We want to expose your students to a rigorous math curriculum. We want to provide accelerated math courses to students that align with their needs, right? And we want to provide the potential for high school credit math. If your student isn't ready for this level of math, right, we can find that out by doing this course. We want to ensure the proper math placement. And that doesn't always mean Math 1. It could mean 6th grade honors. It could mean Math 7 honors, right? This course is exposure to higher level math topics at a very quick pace. So we want to make sure, regardless of where your student ends up, that is the correct math placement for that. So why the club? Capability versus what students have exposure to, right? We know that a lot of students may have the ability to excel at Math 1. However, they were not given the opportunity to in elementary school. So we want to be able to provide an equitable learning environment for all of our students that attend Community House. So that way they have an equal opportunity to take Math 1 or 7 honors or 6th grade honors. We want to let students take the math that is academically appropriate for them. So here's our accelerated math options. If you're a 6th grader, which should be all the parents here, you have the ability to take Math 7 honors. That's going to focus on 7th and 8th grade math concepts and really set your student up to take Math 1 as a 7th grader. The other option is Math 1, which is essentially high school algebra level 1 course in North Carolina. It's Math 1, 2, and 3. Whereas I know, at least when I was in school, it was Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. So about the Math 7 honors course, if we have over 25 students, it's going to be taught by a 6th grade math teacher. If we have over 35 students, it's going to be taught by a 6th grade math teacher and a 7th grade math teacher. What that looks like is we'll have a whole class of 6th graders, and then we'll have essentially a 7th grade teacher that has some students that are 6th grade and some students that are 7th grade. Once they are on the Math 7 honors path, they can get off by repeating it the following year. So if your child gets on the 7th grade honors path and they aren't academically ready for it, they're able to retake Math 7 honors as a 7th grader. However, if you're in Math 7 honors, it's very, very likely you're going to be taking Math 1 the following year in 7th grade. Math 1 in 6th grade, if we have over 25 students, it will be taught by a 6th grade math teacher in the 6th grade. They are always taught by a 7th grade. Oh, that's for 7th graders. This is a high school level course. The final grade goes on the transcript, but not the GPA. So what will end up happening is on the final transcript, if your child gets an 85, it'll show up as a B. If your child gets a 91, it shows up as an A. If it gets a 98, it still shows up as an A, right? It does not affect their GPA going into high school. The purpose for this is that way they get high school credits while still getting the chance to accelerate and not affect their GPA in general. There is an end of course test for Math 1 that counts for 20% of their final grade. Once they are on the Math 1 path, it's very difficult to get off. So once they're on Math 1 as sixth graders, it's very difficult to get them off of that path because of the way the grading works throughout the district. So if you are taking a perform or a rehearse, those, if for whatever reason, if your student were to fail, they'll get at minimum 50. Through retest policies, they can get up to a 79. And all the prepare also counting for, I think, 20 to 30% of your grade, that can get very easily 100% or higher percentages than that. So it's hard once they get into Math 1 to get off that track, because getting off that track means that they fail a course, right? And we're never trying to set up a student to go into Math 1 and end up failing. So a common question we get asked is, does this mean your student is going to be taking 3 to 4 years of math in 1 year? And that's just not how we do it here at Community House. We realign the curriculum so that way your student receives not only Math 1 or 7th grade honors, but also the grade level appropriate math in conjunction with that course. So it does mean that the math is taught at a very fast pace, faster than you would see normally throughout the year. And it allows for mini lessons to kind of fill any gaps that they would have. Math 7 honors follows the Math 7 honors pacing, and Math 1 follows the Math 1 pacing. The teacher will build in any necessary prerequisites as they go throughout the year. So for 6th grade Math 1, in 6th grade, they would learn all of 6th grade math and Math 1. What that means is they're primarily doing Math 1 with sprinkling 6th grade topics that are prerequisites. In 7th grade Math 2, focusing on any type of gaps that they would have for Math 7, and then Math 3, any gaps they have for Math 8. For the 6th grade honors curriculum, Math 6 and Math 7 honors is taught in 6th grade. Math 1 is taught in 7th grade with Math 7 geometry and stats filled in, and then Math 2 is taught in 8th grade with Math 8 geometry sprinkled in as well. And this won't affect any parents here. So how does this determine, or how do I determine if this is for my child? So we want to look at two lenses here. Is your child academically ready? And is your child emotionally / maturity ready? So what does academically ready mean? Does your child consistently perform above the 90th percentile on MAP and EOGs? One of our prerequisites for your child getting into Math 1 is getting above that 90th percentile on MAP, right? If you're not sure what your child's MAP score is, you can reach out to your teacher and figure out where they are percentile wise. There's another MAP coming up specifically in the spring, which is one that we really look closely on. Does your child consistently make A's on math tests? We're not even talking just homework in general. We're specifically talking about math tests, right? Those rehearse and perform grades. Does your child enjoy math and learn to strive more? I think that 3 is something we really need to focus on. If your child doesn't feel like they're one of those math students or really enjoy learning new math, problem solving, looking at things logically, then Math 1 at this age might not be ready, might not be something they're ready for. Does your child seem bored in math or complain that math is too easy? Does your child not feel challenged in math, right? That's something we need to think about. If your answer is yes to 3 out of 4 of these, then your child may be academically ready for an accelerated math placement. Is your child emotionally / maturity ready? This is a huge piece that we really need to have a conversation about. Is your child consistently turning in assignments on time? If they're going to be in Math 1 in 6th grade and Math 2 in 7th and Math 3 in 8th, or even 7 honors and then going into Math 1 and Math 2, they're going to have homework on pretty much a nightly basis. Are they going to be a student who's going to be on top of that? Or are they going to be a student who, falls behind, right? Because if you start to fall behind on that weekly homework or those daily homeworks, then that really can snowball and mean they're not prepared for tests and they're not ready moving forward, especially at the brisk pace that our accelerated courses tend to go. We really need students who are going to be consistently doing their work and making sure that that's a priority for them. Does your child enjoy being challenged in a math class, right? A lot of our students here, I'm going to assume, are very academically gifted in math. However, sometimes those same students really enjoy math because it's easy for them. It may not necessarily be they want the challenge, they want to see something more rigorous. It might be a fact that they like math because it's easy. Does your child have appropriate time management? Are they able to not only do homework, are they able to also figure out how to study, prepare for a math test? Are they able to kind of review long-term, looking at midterms or finals? Is your child giving the appropriate amount of time that they're going to need to study and work for Math 1 or 7th grade honors? Does your child know how to advocate for themselves? This is another big piece that some of our students really tend to struggle with. Math has been something that they've had a really easy time with throughout their entire career potentially. What that means is when it gets tough, something that was once a strength for them, now they're starting to see as a weakness. And if they're not able to advocate for themselves and are willing to kind of have that, hey, I don't know what's going on, which may be a first for some of them, they're going to struggle when it comes to advanced placement courses. You need to have conversations with your students about what advocating for themselves means and the fact that it's very appropriate to ask questions at almost any time. And number 5, does your student want to try advanced math, right? If your student isn't willing to advocate for themselves and they aren't willing to try advanced math, honors math, this accelerated math course is not for them. If they don't like being challenged by math and instead just want something that's going to be easy for them, accelerated math course isn't going to be for them, right? You really want to have these conversations with your students, because the worst thing you want to do is the following, right? Let's say you have a student who's on the border, right? Kind of fringe, maybe very smart at math, but not really hardworking or not going to advocate for themselves. And they get into Math 1 or they get into 7th grade honors. Suddenly they're on this accelerated path that's very difficult to get off, right? And maybe they coast by, maybe they get into the next math the following year, but suddenly the work ethic starts to become a bigger issue and they're maybe not maturing as fast as you'd like. Suddenly now they're in this math class that isn't academic, it still might be academically appropriate for them, but they're not willing to do the work. They're not willing to ask questions. They're not willing to do what they need to do to succeed. This becomes a student who now is accelerated, 1 to 2 years. I mean, or sort really 2 to 3 years, and they're kind of just being pushed along this track. So now you take this great math student who now starts to feel bad about themselves and not have that good level of math efficacy because they weren't, they essentially got on the path a little bit too early. So please have these conversations with your students about what it means to succeed in accelerated courses. So if you're still here, let's talk about logistics. There's going to be 9 to 10 weeks of meetings. For 5th grade, it's going to be 7 to 7:45 on Mondays via Zoom, PM, not AM. So this is going to be 7 to 7:45 PM on Mondays. This is the time that I have to work on this. I am not able to move this around. I also have a 1.5-year-old going on 2-year-old, right, by the time this club is done. So please understand that this is my only time that I can work on it. All of the lessons that we do on Mondays are also going to be recorded, and previous year's lessons are already on my YouTube. So if you look it up on YouTube, you can already see weeks 1 through 10 already put up. And each week, as things get tweaked, right, maybe I realize we need to go over a topic a little bit deeper. Maybe I thought we were doing okay with slope, but I really want to do a double check. That's going to be changed week to week. That's not going to be on YouTube, but will be in the recorded Zoom sessions. Another thing I want to talk about with this being on Mondays, sometimes we will have teacher work days on Mondays. That does not change when we're going to have the essentially 6th grade math placement club. If we have a work day on that Monday, I'm still going to be doing this Zoom at 7 to 7:45. So anytime you're worried about, do we have school? Oh no, we don't have school. We're not going to have math club. That's not the case. We will still have the Zoom. Topics range from the following below, but we're going to have a list of topics on the next page. So equations with variables on both sides, literal equations and cross products, slope, comparing rates of change, slope-intercept form, comparing lines, monomial power rules, function notation, and really focusing on functions in general. Does math club still meet during spring break? No, that is the one time that it will not be. We will not have math club over spring break. I will give myself that week off. I'll be honest with you. I think the following Monday we get back though might be, so I think it goes like a full week, and then that Monday we would still have math club, and I'll send out an email to the Canvas course about that. So we do not expect your child to become a master of all of those topics we just listed. We don't expect them to understand the in and out on a deep conceptual level. What we do try to figure out is which children are able to glean topics quickly and can apply them to new math topics as we go forward, right? All the topics that we're going to be covering, we are going to cover again in Math 1. That's not to say you need to teach your child the entire Math 1 curriculum before they even take the test. That's not going to be helpful for them, and it's just going to be stressful for everyone. We're going to focus on the key topics that we feel are prerequisites to help them succeed in Math 1. Some of that might mean topics that would be covered in Math 7 honors or Math 6 honors ahead of time. So here's how the pacing would work. If you're in 6th grade Math 1, 6th grade you're taking Math 1, Math 2 in 7th grade, Math 3 in 8th grade. Pre-calc is 9th grade. 10th grade, according to AK, they are still doing AB and BC all 1 year. So they take AP Calc as 10th graders. 11th grade, they'd be doing AP Stats. 12th grade, you can either do an online course through NCSSM or through a community college of your choice. Yeah, we also have a lot of students that will try to do NCSSM going into their 11th grade year. If you're in 7th grade honors, essentially, if you're in 7 honors in 6th grade, essentially that means that all of this gets just bumped back 1 year. But we can see if you get on the Math 1 course as a 6th grader, it's very difficult to get off that path. And the worst thing we want is a burnt out 8th grader who's now trying to do pre-calc as they head into high school, right? That's never something that we're trying to have. So we really need to have those conversations. So the big thing, expectations, we really want students arriving on time. We need students asking questions to teachers and student helpers. I'm gonna have student helpers that were in my previous math classes. So that way you can kind of see the students that not only have been through the course, but have succeeded in the course. And there's gonna be extra weekly practice at home. Remember, the classes are only 45 minutes. I can't possibly ask and provide enough examples for your students to kind of learn everything. There is going to be weekly homework, and it's expected for them to do it. I'm not going to grade that weekly homework. I don't have the time to grade everyone's weekly homework. However, whenever a student has a question, what I'll always tell them to do is take a screenshot of that question, send me an email, and I will write out an explanation for them. That is something I'm more than happy to do if the answer key for the homework doesn't help enough. Other thing we need to do is make sure you're talking to your child. Talk to them about whether they're interested in taking this accelerated math course or not, right? If you start the process, have frequent conversations about how they feel about the club. It is going to move fast. It's going to be very rigorous, right? And especially at the beginning, this is going to be overwhelming for some of your students. Really talk to them and make sure that they're feeling okay with it and feel like they want to proceed throughout it, right? You need to figure out your students' emotional response to the process. If they are feeling way too overwhelmed and shutting down and not enjoying math, please make sure to take your student aside and be like, maybe we just try to watch the YouTube videos. Maybe we stop going to math club altogether. That's okay, right? We still want your child to enjoy math. The worst thing we want to do is expose your child to these topics. They feel bad about themselves not understanding, and then suddenly they don't feel like they're quote unquote good at math, right? That is not the goal here. The goal here is providing exposure where it's appropriate to your student. If your student doesn't feel like it's appropriate, then that's something you need to have those conversations with, right? I'm not able to have those conversations with a student at a time. So understand that, especially in the beginning, they may feel overwhelmed, but how are they coping with feeling overwhelmed, right? Do they feel like it's something they can get through? Do they feel like something they can work through? Or are they feeling upset about it? Are they feeling, not great about themselves, self-confidence wise, right? Remember, this is math they've never seen before, and it's going to be very challenging, and that's okay. If they're working on the extra homework practice, please help them. Make sure that you're checking that and that's getting done weekly. Encourage them to reach out, right? I am more than happy to answer an email, especially if I have a screenshot of the question being asked. Reassure them that this is for fun to determine their best math placement. This is not a course designed or a club designed to get into Math 1. It's a course designed to give them their best math placement, right? That's our common goal, whether that be 6th grade honors, 7th grade honors, or Math 1. We want the appropriate math class for them. So test dates, this is for parents at home, right? Saturday, April 30th and Sunday, May 1st. We're going to do it back to back. Currently, the plan is to do it in person. This may change depending on COVID numbers, right? And we also want to make sure that we're getting the ability to have students be, separated and paced out so that way they're at least a minimum of 6 feet apart. We were able to do that when we took the AMC 8 and we had over 118 students. Our cafeteria can hold that many. They can use a calculator. This can be a scientific calculator, can be a graphing calculator, but we really want a calculator they're going to be familiar with. I'm not going to do anything with a graphing calculator in this course because we don't have time to really do that. The test is approximately 25 to 30 questions. And it's going to be, I think, a little over an hour long, maybe an hour 15, something along those lines. So here's the big thing that I need from you all. I need you to fill out this form. The reason this form is so important is because it lets me collect data like your student's number, your student's ID number. So that way I'm able to enroll them in a course. What's going to end up happening is they're going to get a Canvas course. This is the 6th grade or the 7th grade Math 1 placement. We'll also have a 6th grade Math 1 placement. And in here, not only will it have the Zoom links, this has not been updated, by the way. So if you're like, what's going on here? But it'll have the modules that they can do, right? So this has recorded videos, the practice problems and extra practice and videos for them. And it really kind of gives them a pacing for what we need them to be able to do throughout the semester. So keep this in mind when thinking about how can I help prepare my student. Having them work through these modules and prepare is going to be the biggest thing that you can do for them. Let me see if I can figure out, there we go. Yes, fill out the form once per child. Yep, so if you have multiple, please just do one. Do these courses appear in the student canvas? Yes, that is correct. So once I send this out, we're going to be able to enroll students and they can see previous videos and material and study work that they can do. Weekly course meetings are on Zoom. That's correct. Yep. We're going to meet weekly via Zoom, not in person, all over Zoom. When is the interest form due? As soon as possible. We're going to start the actual sessions, and I think that was probably something we should have put in here, but the actual sessions will be starting February 21st. How do you get the Canvas? You get the Canvas by filling out the form, and then I can enroll students by their ID number, and then it'll pop up in their Canvas page. So the first meeting for 6th grade math club will be, 5th grade math club will be February 21st. Are they required to take the math test placement if they do the club? They aren't required to take it. I would highly suggest doing it for the following reason. If they've gone through the whole club or they've gone through even a majority of the club, we want them to take the placement test because the placement test determines if they're in Math 1, 7th grade honors, or 6th grade honors. So if your student maybe isn't feeling like they feel like Math 1 is appropriate for them, but they might feel like 7 honors might be appropriate, we still need them to take the placement test because without that data, we don't have all of the points we need to determine the appropriate placement. The flyers that was sent out from school said student session every Wednesday. The presentation said every Monday. Is it Monday or Wednesday? It is definitely Monday. We are not doing it. That must have been old information sent out from the school. Last year it was Wednesdays. We switched it to Mondays to work with my schedule. When will the test be taken? The test will be taken the last weekend of April/first weekend of May. Does this apply only for rising sixth graders who go to community house? That is correct. If your student isn't going to community house, then this club is not for them. If you have them plan to go to another school, this is not for them. Other questions? Anything else I can answer? Please also remember, if you think of anything question-wise, please shoot me an email. And if you have parents that you know or families that you know, either one should have been here and couldn't, or two didn't know about them, please forward on this information and we'll send out the video link for this as well. Please also send out the 5th grade math form. If they're still working out, if they're going to go to CHMS, that's totally fine. They can still attend the club. Is the test on both days or only one? Yeah, you pick which one. You either pick Saturday or Sunday. You don't take both. Will every student be given a course depending on their level? Yes. Yep. What's community house? That is the school, that the middle school that we work out. Okay. Say they take the test with community house but end up going to other magnet feeders. Will the score still work? No. This score is specifically for community house. This test is specifically for community house. If they're going to other schools, that they might require other data. We can give this information, but that doesn't mean they're going to do with it what we're going to do with it. Do we have to go to the school for the test? Yes. How is Math 1 course different from math in the usual classes? I would go back and watch the video or look through the slides because I think it explains it a little bit. Math 1 is more algebra based, whereas 6th grade honors, 7th grade honors, 8th grade honors, that's all going to, well, 6th and 7th grade honors is a different curriculum. Have you seen any dropouts from Math 1 in 6th grade? No. So far that I'm aware of, at least. This has been a weird year with COVID, so I wouldn't even necessarily count this as a year, but in the past, no. Can I share my email, please? Sure, of course.
Let me speak to that question, Tyler.
Yeah, go for it.
So we typically have anywhere from 25 to 40 students. We've had up to 40, but typically some end up leaving, go meet the criteria to do our Math 1. And when I say some end up leaving, I mean they move away from the state. So they end up meeting the criteria for our Math 1. We have not had issues with students not being successful in 6th grade Math 1 because we do have stringent criteria. I do think that this placement test, as well as our other data points that we consider, are pretty strong in determining if a child is academically ready. I do want to make sure the parent that asked what's the difference between this and 6 honors, it is drastically different. So we are an open access school for one level up. So for example, coming in to middle school, any student coming in, you get to pick whether you take Math 6 or Math 6 honors. Math 6 is your 6th grade content. We do open up resources. That's a free, it's a online curriculum. You can go look at it to see what students learn in 6th grade. People can take Math 6 honors without, there's no placement test required. Math 6 honors covers all of 6th grade and some of 7th grade. So that is already accelerated. What we're talking about in this presentation is for math that is more accelerated than those two options. So a student could place into possibly Math 7 honors, which is 7th and 8th grade math, or they could even place into Math 1, which is a high school course. And again, 6th grade and Math 1 actually align quite nicely. So the student will learn 6th grade math and Math 1 in the same year. They align very nicely, and we realign the curriculum. They're not learning 4 years of content in 1 year. That is not achievable. We realign the curriculum so that they are learning what they need for success in Math 1 with Math 1, what they need for success in Math 2 with Math 2, et cetera. But our students are very successful with it. So if your child loves math and They are very talented in it, and this is something you want to even try. We definitely encourage it. We encourage everyone to attend and to try, and you'll know if it's right for you or not.
So Jennifer, one quick question. So say if there might be many students who wouldn't have taken this Math 1 placement test, how are those students evaluated in getting placed in the 6th grade?
If they do not take the placement test, they either pick standard math or Math 6 honors.
Oh, but so you would default them to 6th grade standard, but you won't evaluate them if they are applicable for maybe 7th grade honors or anything?
This is the evaluation to take Math 7 honors or Math 1.
So if any, say a person is coming from out of state and they missed this placement test, then you would just place them under 6th honors.
Yeah, they can take Math 6 honors. Typically, we've had a few instances where parents will ask about it and we will give the placement test at that point.
Right. So if they're coming in out of district or out of state and weren't with us until that point, parents have the ability to ask for the placement test to do it. That's a rare scenario where that happens, but we have had students who were essentially tracked for Math 1 or algebra in 6th grade, right? And they're taking the placement test and are fine from there. But if you are currently, going to one of our feeder schools and you just didn't take the Math 1 placement test for whatever reason, you're going to get into 6th grade honors or 6th grade standards.
Yeah, will this be only one-time test, like, or will it be a continued process in the middle school?
One-time test.
Yep.
And just to be clear, I want to make sure that we all know, most schools do not even offer this.
Right.
So this is all extra that we like to offer because we saw a need in our community. And so most schools do not even offer Math 1 or Math 7 honors to their 6th graders. So we saw a need in the community. We wanted to fill the need, and I'll be specific, Mr. Erb saw a need in the community. And so we wanted to fill that need. And so this is why we do this and offer this. We will, again, if a parent is coming from out of state and their kid was like, they were like, my kid was going to do this, we will definitely give them the placement test. It's not like that it's a no. But in general, when you come in, it's either Math 6 or Math 6 honors when you come in late in the year. Because, and let me say with this, even if a child takes Math 6 honors in 6th grade, they can still take Math 1 in 7th grade. They're still eligible to take. We have many students that take Math 1 in 7th grade that have Math 6 honors in 6th grade. So they still have that accelerated opportunity. So they still get that. Just to make sure, like, I don't know of many other middle schools at all that offer it like this. And also correct, they do not miss any math. That is my job. My job is to make sure the students don't miss any math, regardless of what math path they take. And I make sure that they get every single bit of math that they need to have and hit every single standard before they walk out. And so, again, if they take, I can't iterate how much, like, 6th grade and Math 1 align 1-to-1, 7th grade and Math 2 align 1-to-1. And then by the time they hit 8th grade, all they're really missing is a little bit of geometry. And then they take Math 3. They just align so nicely. It's almost as if the courses should go together. When they take Math 7 honors, that's where we have to build in a little bit of extra. So you saw on the list earlier in the presentation, if they take Math 7 honors in 6th grade, that's 7th and 8th grade math, and they're building in the 6th grade concepts. And then when they take Math 1, we have to build in some more the 7th grade geometry and the 7th grade stats and probability that they didn't get in 6th grade, and we build in those extra units, and they cover those. But the teachers do a great job with it, and they've been doing it a long time. So they will not miss any math, and they also will not. It is faster. It's a faster pace. I don't want to, but the kids can handle it. They're academically ready to handle it. And they typically, they do really well with it, and the teachers do a great job. And just to because the school, we do, everyone does the same Math 1 and everyone does the same 7 honors regardless of the level. We get to look at the data, and actually our 6th grade Math 1 always has the highest data on all the tests. And our 6th grade Math 7 honors always have the highest data on all the tests. So they don't miss anything, and they're able to get everything very easily, even though it's taught at a faster pace, but we're not cramming 4 years of math into 1 year. That's not achievable. It's not realistic.
Thank you, Jennifer. I have another question. So how the grading works if they are in the Math 1, also doing the regular math, 6th grade math, how the grading works, for the Math 1 students?
They're in Math 1. So the course that they're in is Math 1. We just build in the 6th grade math into the Math 1 course. So they're not they're not in 2 courses at once. They're in Math 1, but also covering the 6th grade math. So they do high school grading, which is, well, middle school is different than elementary and high school is different than middle. So they still have the 3 categories, the prepare, rehearse, perform. Retest in high school, you can only earn up to an 80. There's the bigger late penalty of 5 points per day on things. Those are the major differences. They have a midterm that is not able to be retested. And then they have the EOC that counts for 20% of their final grade. So it's a high school course graded as a high school course completely.
Okay, thank you. And sorry if I'm asking more questions. So one other question is like, how will they get extra credits for college if they are in the Math 1?
So Mr. Erb had earlier the different math tracks. So if they take Math 1 as a 6th grader, they'll have AP Calc, AP Stats, and then an opportunity to take a college course of their choice or a virtual course. If they take Math 1 as a 7th grader, they do 7 honors, they'll likely take Math 1 as a 7th grader. So they'll definitely have AP Calc and AP Stats, or the opportunity to take AP Calc and AP Stats if they want to.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the big piece, if you know any parents, family, anything like that are not able to attend today, please have them reach out to me or check the CHMS math page, or my YouTube will have this recorded up, and we'll send these links out to you all as well, so you can rewatch this video. Thank you so much for coming out. And again, if you have any questions, please send an email. Will I be sharing the slideshow? The slideshow was shared earlier on in the chat. I can send that again. However, it will also be shared on the CHMS math page, as well as whatever we send out here today. There you go. We sent it out for everyone. All right. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Yep. You too.